Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is June 25th, and right now we are looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. You can see our next storm system right off the coastline here. Looks a bit ominous here, and it could bring some thunderstorm activity here across Pacific Northwest. There's some monsoon moisture moving up across California. It could impact some areas of extreme southern Oregon here and Idaho as we go through the day today. Some lightning strikes associated with that as well. Some dangerous fire conditions there across southern Oregon, and we'll take a look at the rest of the area here as we go through the extended forecast. As always, we'll take a first sneak peek out towards the 4th of July here with some of the deterministic model runs as well as we go through the video this morning. Seasonably warm weekend ahead, says the National Weather Service Spokane. You can see Saturday, low to mid 80s for Sunday as well, with the chance of some showers starting to move in here. This was issued last night, and red flag warning does exist here just to the east of Klamath Falls. Does include Lakeview here, some low relative humidities and some gusty winds, gusts to 35 miles per hour for some dangerous fire conditions out there. You can see Crater Lake there across the Cascades and the I-5 corridor on this map as well. Taking a look at SeaTac yesterday, 70 degrees. I mean, a lot of sunshine out there. You can't ask for much of a better day there. 3 degrees below average. The average high for this time of year is 73 degrees. By the time we get to the end of the month, it is 74. We're a little bit below average here for precipitation, but we are going to bring some precipitation in here as we go on into the next couple of days. We're going to look at that here in a moment. Taking a look at Bellingham, 67, 69 is the average high for this time of year. So pretty much an average later June day here for Bellingham. Something similar here for Hoquiam as well. 66, the average high at 65 right now, and we are above average for Hoquiam. It's 3.44 inches of rain, average about 2 inches of rain a year for the month of June. So taking a look at the European, this is what is coming. There's that storm system we saw in the mid-level water vapor loop out over the water. And you can see as we go through tonight, it starts to impact portions of western BC and Vancouver Island. And this will eventually spread some activity here across some of Washington state here. And you can see some of the associated moisture out across some of southeast Oregon into southern Idaho, across the Rocky Mountains. But I'm going to back this up and watch this as we go through tomorrow morning. This could be spawning some thunderstorms for places like Ellensburg and Entiat out there, maybe Wenatchee, and as you get up towards Blewett Pass, you could get some thunderstorm activity as we go through the morning hours. It should spread across the North Cascades as we go through the day up into British Columbia as well. Omak under the gun. And you can kind of see the precipitation ongoing off and on tomorrow as we go through tomorrow night towards Thursday morning. The trough is going to be overhead, so we're still going to have some showers around western Washington, kind of northwest Oregon there, and some thunderstorm activity across BC, a lot of Alberta, the Rocky Mountains, Idaho Panhandle, and Montana. We scroll on in through the end of the week, and we're going to have a little transient ridge try to build in here a bit for the weekend, but there's another system out here across the Pacific Ocean and the Gulf of Alaska. It's going to be swinging through here as well to kick some onshore flow back on and to suppress some of the temperatures here across the region. If we take a look at that lightning flash density potential, I want to look at tomorrow morning because you'll see some of this monsoon moisture. On the European, it doesn't really show much of that getting into Oregon or Idaho as we go through tonight, but as we go through tomorrow, you can see some of this activity start to pop up here across some of southeast Oregon, Idaho, and look at this, across some of the Cascades, east slopes of the Cascades, some of that thunderstorm activity gets going. Yakima could be under the gun, maybe Lake Chelan, North Cascades up into BC. As you go through the late morning into early afternoon hours, it should be moving off to the north there across northeast Washington and British Columbia there. And as we go on in through Thursday, you notice some of these thunderstorms again, maybe northeast Washington, Idaho, and Montana as we go through Thursday afternoon. Now we take a look at the day one thunderstorm outlook. They do have some of that monsoon moisture up into southeast Oregon here for day one. You can see a bit across Yellowstone there as well. And this is day two. This is tomorrow morning, and you can see that Cascades east across Oregon, Washington, and British Columbia. And then day three pushing off to the east a bit further with some severe weather possible over portions of Montana and Wyoming. Taking a look at the National Weather Service heat risk. This will be an interesting map. This is an experimental product here. But if we take a look here, you can kind of see how it paint some of these areas. This does a good job with some of the terrain features out there as well. You can see Portland and some areas of Seattle a little bit on the elevated side there, and some yellow is just minor heat risk. And if you want to go out to the coastal areas, you're not dealing with much heat risk there, and especially across the higher terrain as well. But you can see as you get towards southeast Oregon, some of Idaho, some of the valley areas, and you get down towards Salt Lake City, you can kind of see these reds showing up as well. So this is something we'll be watching as we go. As we go through Wednesday, though, we're going to have that system moving in, and you can see the lessened heat risks there. We go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you can kind of look off into the future forecast there. So we're not looking at any major heat wave by any stretch of the imagination here across Pacific Northwest. If we take a look at the daily 2-meter max temperature, you can see we are bouncing back fairly well today, though. Seattle could be up towards 80, some 80s for Southwest Washington, the Willamette Valley, some mid and upper 80s, 90s east of the Cascades. But you'll start to see the effects of that as we go through the day. Tomorrow's going to be 73, and then by Thursday we have the trough overhead kind of suppressing the temperatures as well. Start to bounce back a little bit here by Thursday, or Friday and Saturday, I should say, and then that next system will be rolling through, kind of suppressing temperatures yet again. So taking a look here at the artificial intelligence model here in the European, we're starting to get some differences in the extended run, and I want to kind of just play through this. This is last night's version. You can see we do have this troughing moving through on Wednesday and Thursday. A little bit of a transient ridge builds here for portions of the weekend, and then the next system kind of tries to swing through here as we go through this weekend. But we've got this ridge building off the coastline here, but we still have these systems swinging through here. And this is different than what the deterministic models here are showing. As you can see, this trough setting up right here about fireworks time there on the 4th of July. But I'm going to show you what the regular European deterministic and the GFS here have been showing in a moment, and we'll start with that now. So this is yesterday afternoon's European versus the GFS on the right. Here goes our system we've been talking about. It's going to be swinging through Wednesday and Thursday. A little bit of a ridge builds here for portions of the weekend, and then this next system moving in. You can see a little bit deeper of a trough here on, I shouldn't even say that, just maybe a little bit lower heights there on the GFS. And then we have this troughing swinging through here as we go through July 2nd. Now we're into July 3rd, and you can kind of see this ridging building here on both the GFS and the European. This is fireworks time here. That's definitely no precipitation for much of the Pacific Northwest, and it has it both on the GFS. You can see the axis of this ridge here would be rather warm and dry, so we can't, that artificial intelligence there on the European might not be on to anything for the 4th of July. So we'll be watching this as we go and breaking this down day by day. Of course, I know a lot of people have plans on the 4th of July, and you want to know what kind of weather is coming up here so you can prepare. Now, taking a look at Seattle-Tacoma, this is last night's European model run here. The warm day today, then dropping back down. A little bit of a bounce back for the weekend, and then the next system rolls in here. But look at, by the time you get to 4th of July, there you might get some 80s back in here towards some areas of the Pacific Northwest, even west of the Cascades for western Washington. So if we take a look at the 24-hour precipitation totals, you can see the system rolling through here. And again, that thunderstorm activity is going to be kicking off tomorrow morning. East slopes of the Cascades, North Cascades, so heads up for that. Anybody off in the backcountry, be prepared for that thunderstorm activity. Here we go on in through Thursday, and you can kind of see Seattle is getting a little bit of rain, but it's not much here in some of Northwest Washington or Oregon. And you can see the North Cascades and the British Columbia area here. And we kind of have this trough just hanging around. So it's not a washout for Seattle or Portland here, but the higher terrain could get some better amounts. Then we scroll through this weekend, and the next system starts to roll in here as we go through Sunday, bringing another round of precipitation potential as we go on into the early portion of next week. Here's the 6 to 10 day below average here across some of the Pacific Northwest. This is June 30th through July 4th. And this is the 6 to 10 day here as we go on in through the 4th of July as well. So above average and below average conditions, but take that with a grain of salt there, because you did see the European and the GFS starting to build a ridge in this time frame as well. And this is probably going to change as they update this for today, the 8 to 14 day temperature probability outlook with an above average signal there as well. We'll see how that trends here over the next couple of days. But just a reminder that it's that time of the year we are dealing with moderate and an elevated fire risk basically on a daily basis here, especially Cascades East and W10. You can see popping up there Wednesday with some elevated risk. This hasn't been updated yet again today. So, oh, there it goes. Asking ye shall receive. There's Tuesday here. So we can see Wednesday, NW8 and MW10 here. There is going to be some elevated fire risk out there, and moderate is in these yellows. So it just takes a spark out there. So be careful out there. You guys know the drill. But anyway, there is our next system here. Be prepared for those thunderstorms across the higher terrain of the Cascades. This may even be including some of the northern Cascades of Oregon as we go through the early morning hours as well. And that should be spreading up across the region as we go through this afternoon. So heads up for that. You can clearly see the system off the coastline here. But yeah, get out there and enjoy that today, because pretty nice day. Seattle up towards 80, some mid and upper 80s for the Willamette Valley, and even warmer east of the Cascades as well. So anyway, yeah, we'll continue to break this down. We'll see what's coming for the 4th of July, and we'll be breaking that down day by day with the extended model runs over the next few days as well. But otherwise, I hope you guys are enjoying the channel. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.